Thank you, Madam Chair. Like you, I want to thank my colleague and dear friend on our subcommittee, ranking member Derek Kilmer, for his work, his leadership on the important topic, continuity, and thank our witnesses, certainly Representative Wenstrup and all the folks that Mr. Kilmer identified. Thanks. I know imagining disaster scenarios targeting our colleagues and ourselves is hard. Bombs at the State of the Union or party conventions, assassins targeting just enough members of the majority party to put them in the minority. And yet, I think all of us, and certainly as the ranking member of this committee, that is intended to ensure that the House operates. I know we need to be prepared to ensure this Congress, our democracy, can function in the face of all the disasters we prefer not to think about. But right now, vacancies in Congress, as everyone knows, under the Constitution are filled through special elections. It is one of the remarkable things about the history of this House that everybody who has ever served in the House of Representatives owes that seat to an election by the people in their district. Obviously, this would create some changes, which makes it somewhat challenging to think about it. But the notion of mass casualty events or disasters led several bipartisan members of this committee to write a letter to the Government Accountability Office requesting they examine how quickly states will be able to hold special elections following a mass casualty event. And as Ranking Member Kilmer suggested, some local election officials have real concerns about how quickly they can do all this. I think the full committee also voted unanimously for an amendment earlier this Congress directing the study that was talked about, and I think that's a positive bipartisan step to become better informed about the topic and to raise the specter of what we do. As I understand, the previous select committee made a related recommendation to establish a joint committee of members to ensure continuity in the face of the next potentially unforeseen crisis, modeled after prior legislation that was never enacted. So the convening today is really important, and I want to again thank the committee sub-chair, or the subcommittee chair, for bringing us together and to think about this and to force us to really sort of spend some time. So I look forward to discussion of the bipartisan constitutional amendment, HJ Res 118, as well as one of the possible ways of addressing it. Ensuring we get this right matters for a whole host of reasons. We need to maintain an uninterrupted legislative capacity during times of crisis, as my friend Mr. Kilmer has talked about, especially if Congress is needed to address funding bills, to war authorizations, or other emergency legislation that we would need to respond to a crisis. The Constitution establishes the balance of power between the three branches. It's hard to imagine our government functioning with one of those three branches incapacitated. And so all of this, I think, and all Americans deserve representation as quickly as possible, even in emergency situations. It is a tough topic. It's also one that I suspect our founders would never have really seriously considered in their day and age, but it's one that in the modern era we do have to consider as distasteful as it is. So, and I think we can make important strides, and I think this conversation is certainly a way to do that. And again, want to thank Mr. Kilmer for his long commitment to this subject, and to, again, to the chair for bringing us together and continuing a dialogue on an important subject. So thank you all, and with that, I yield back.